Happy Wesak, Namo Buddhaya. As the Wesak day is approaching, let us remember and commemorate three significant events connected with the birth, enlightenment, and Mahaparinibbana of the Gautama Buddha, our great teacher. So in the 7th century AD, Master Xuanzang arrived at the Bodhi tree in Bodh where the Buddha attained enlightenment. As he stood before the Buddha statue, he bowed down, prostrated himself on the ground, and wept. With a sigh, he lamented. When the Buddha achieved enlightenment, I was still lost in the cycle of birth and death. Now, after enduring numerous hardships on my journey from China to Bodh all I can see is just the Buddha statue. It is clear how my karmic obstacles are. Overwhelmed with emotion, he could not hold back his tears. So there is a touching verses like this. While the Buddha was alive, I was trapped in samsara. After the Buddha's passing away, I was reborn, reflecting on the many karmic obstacles of this body. I have still not witnessed the radiant form of the Tathagata. The first part of this verse describes the touching experience of later disciples who, upon recollecting the Buddha, feel a profound emotional connection with the Buddha. The Buddha achieved enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. He delivered his Dhammacakkappavattana suttas to the first 5 monks in Sarnath. He continued to spread the Dharma throughout the northern and southern India for 45 years. Reflecting on the time when the Buddha was present, I was still wandering in the samsara. After the Buddha's passing away, I have been reborn into this world, unable to personally receive the Buddha's teaching. The later part of this verse is reflecting on the many karmic obstacles of this body. I have still not witnessed the radiant form of the Tathagata. This verse continues to say, I cannot help but lament the extent of my karmic hindrances, unable to see the 32 great marks and 80 sublime attributes, characteristics of the golden Buddhas. So in the Mahaparinibbana, the Buddha told us that in future generation, if people practice the Noble Eightfold Path, there will be no shortage of arahat in the world. That is to say, the teaching of the Buddha will exist in the world for a long time if people practice the Noble Eightfold Path. Yes, this brings us great comfort and confidence. Although the Buddha has left us, his teachings still exist in the world. Many people continue to follow and practice the Buddha's teaching, realizing the Four Noble Truths. It is our effort and to protect and uphold the true Dhamma. And we are very grateful that many monastics still adhere to the teachings of the Buddhas, practicing the 4 sublime state of mind, that is, loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joys, equanimity, observing precepts, cultivating samadhi, concentration, developing panya, wisdom, tirelessly working hard, facing challenges without withdrawing themselves, persevering on the path to enlightenment, and inspiring others with their diligent practice. So in the Milinda Panha, King Milinda asked the monk Nagasena, Venerable Sir, the Buddha said, Ananda, the true Dhamma will remain for only 500 years. However, Before the Buddhas attained Mahaparinibbana, he answered the question put forth by the outside heretics, Subhadda. The Buddha says to Subhadda, right? Subhadda, if monks were to practice the Noble Eightfold Path, the world would not be lack of Arahat. Now, it has been more than 500 years since the Buddhas entered Mahaparinibbana. Yet, I see many monks still practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. However, I find these two statements contradictory. One is true Dharma remain only for 500 years. Another is if people practice the Noble Eightfold Path, the world will not lack of Arahat. So how do you explain this? Venerable Nagasena responded, Your Majesty, these two statements have distinct meaning. One refers to the preservation of the existence of the true Dhamma, while the other pertains to the practice of liberation. When the Buddha says, Ananda, now the true Dhamma will last only 500 years, he was saying that the period in which the true Dhamma will be preserved. However, when the Buddha entered Mahaparinibbana, he said to the community of monks and the wanderers like Subhadda, if monks follow the Noble Eightfold Path, then the world will not be lack of Arahat. This statement referred to the practice of liberation. Therefore, we should not mix up the preservation of the true Dhamma with the practice of liberation. That is why the Buddha says, Subhadda, if the monks follow the Noble Eightfold Path, then the world will not be lack of Arahat. This is the true interpretation. So in the end, Melinda Panher also mentions that there are three causes for the disappearance of the true teachings of the Buddha, right, in the world. Namely, this disappearance of the realization. The second, the disappearance of the practice. And the third, disappearance of external appearance. This means that when realization disappears, even if someone practices, they cannot attain realization. When practice disappears, the percepts also disappear, leaving only the external appearance of the practitioner. Finally, when external appearance of practitioner also disappear, then the entire teachings of Buddhism will also disappear. Therefore, as the disciples of the Buddhas, we should reflect the Buddha's teaching, practice the Noble Eightfold Path, and strive to realize the Arahathood. It is our responsibility to protect the Buddha Sasana. This is the significance of celebrating Wesak Day. So I wish you a happy Wesak, and let us not forget to also make an aspiration. May I protect the Dhamma, always follow the Noble Eightfold Path in this lifetime until the attainment of Nibbana. And may the true teachings continue to exist in the world for a long time. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.